Hey everyone, this is Manly Badass Hero, and welcome back to The Letter. Previously, Ash failed to protect all of his friends, and now he learns how bad the situation really is. Finally. The wind has already picked up when I exit my car and return to the precinct. Somewhere, the faint sound of thunder booms, filtering even through the concrete walls of my workplace. Though sparsely manned around this hour, the on-duty officer's lively chatter easily fills the room. Some coax me into joining them when I pass by, but all of it has been turned down in favor of rushing straight to the evidence area. Normally taking evidence out is a tedious process. However, being one of the people in charge of investigating Isabel's murder smoothens the process. And after spouting a legit-sounding reason, the custodian is handing me the letter 5 minutes later. I'll probably get in trouble for this if they find out I lied, but everything has already gone foobar. Getting in trouble at work is the least of my worries. Worst case, I'll be dead and I'll have no one to dismiss. In case I survive, I'll think about that later when this whole ordeal with the dumb curse is over. I mean, look at this thing. I won't take it seriously if it isn't for all the fucked up shite that's been happening. This is the sort of stupid people pass along as prank through emails and text messages, for fuck's sake. The people seriously make copies of this and pass them around to try and save themselves from a possible curse. That's the inane logic that can be garnered from the fact there are multiple victims. Was Isabella not saved because she had simply shown us this one instead of sending 5 different ones? I know it's fake, like the little 5 people part, but the concept of that is hilarious to me. It's like, oh yeah, you're supposed to make copies, not show them, sorry. We just didn't want anyone to cheat through the internet, just post it up on a forum or something. We gotta, keep up the times. What sort of selfish person would ever even endanger 5 other people just to save their own skin? More importantly, what does this have to do with the mansion? There'll be time for answers later. I've wasted enough time here. Quickly, I stuff the letter into my pocket and I head back to my car. Within 10 minutes, I'm driving out of Luxborn and heading straight for Ansem Village. In the distance, flashes of lightning light up the horizon, white and sharp against the black current of the night. Fun and friends with a rumble seconds later, echoing long across the heavens. And with one last roar, the skies open in earnest. Tuesday. Wow, this place looks real bad in this light. November 1st. First one to make it here. The rain fall in fast, steady sheets, creating shallow puddles on the dirt path, drenching everything the eyes can reach. Despite having grew up in the city, I still despise the rain. Living here doesn't mean I have to like it. Lucky me, I've reached the mansion before the downpour has turned torrential. The long slog from Ansem Village by foot has already been made difficult by the light drizzle and biting winds, buffeting against my body every few seconds. By the time I found cover under the trees lining the vicinity of the mansion, my shoulders are already drenched. My hair is also sticking against my skin and out in every possible direction. Thankfully, the letter, the taser, and the gun I brought with me has remained relatively dry. That's the most important thing. However, those are the least of my problems at the moment. Sometime after the housewarming party, Scumbag, Wright has suddenly grown a brain and tying the security around the mansion. Boy, they have to sound in this rain. It's like a theme park. Well, a water park anyway. Likely because of what Zach did. A guard is now stationed in every possible point of entry. The main entryway, the back door leading to the kitchens. Hell, it's almost a miracle no one has spotted me once I entered the property. Although that's probably because I'm close to the forest. Well, I can always create a clever way in for myself. Under this deluge, I'll be difficult to do so without making much noise or leaving tracks.
I don't really have the luxury either, do I?
Considering how off this place feels since I've stepped in the property and the mansion came into view. Every lights are off. Even with the security personnel on patrol outside, the whole house itself, it feels empty. Eerie. Too quiet. Normally I'll pass it off as some kind of power outage because of the storm. It's not a far-off conclusion when this place is almost in the middle of nowhere. However, something just feels wrong.
Something happened here.
I feel like it's infected by ghosts. Got disinfected, get some Terminex, or about to. They have a ghost policy there, look it up. It's the sole reason why I haven't done anything yet, not covered by insurance. Simply observing, watching, listening for anything. I might be pressed for time, but I'm not a careless idiot. Although I need a way in. Desperately so. Moving without thinking will not only endanger me. There's so many unknown variables in what we're dealing with. I also have to act on the assumption that someone is always in danger, especially in this place. I can't act impetuously. As much as I hate Wright, I'm not about to cause his death because of one thoughtless action. If there's a place he deserves to be at, it's in a prison, not a morgue. So when a hoarse, painful sob suddenly rings out, and I kept my gun, above the loud pitter-patter of the rain, only then do I stir. A woman. Perhaps a servant. It's coming from the forest? Oh no, Ash. Just right up ahead, in fact. Not too far from the house. Regardless, I give the place a quick, wary glance before following the noise. Carefully keeping to the shadows, one cautious step after another. Louder and louder it goes as I near. It abruptly turns into a run for your life! I break into a run. One nervous hand ready on the gun holster to my hip, and the other raised for balance as I struggle across the dense understory. Dead leaves crunch under my shoes, but I paid no mind. It was only the voice, the woman, and nothing. Abruptly it all stops, and I'm met with a sudden hush. Blank. Empty. Almost deafening in its stillness, even with my labored breathing and pounding heartbeats against my ears. Behind me, another branch breaks, and dread surges within me while I spin around and take a hard step back, ignoring the chilly pinpricks crawling at the back of my neck. But before I can even meet her eyes, the world unexpectedly pitches sideways. I've just been kicked, haven't I? Tilting. And tilting till the ground beneath me finally crumbles. My hands fight for the purchase, only to meet air. By then, it's too late. My foot slips further and the rest of my body follows. Dark spots blur the edges of my vision. Black tendrils twist and coil around my limbs. Soft footfalls echo from the far distance. Scurrying, scampering, moving in an odd rhythm with the sharp piercing notes of her laughter. But more than that are the voices, placing venom inside every crevice in my head. Murmurs that jeer, scoff, and deride. Over. It's because you didn't listen. And over. It's all your fault. And over again. Why won't you believe me? A reminder of what I failed to do and who I've failed. What I'm trying to desperately fix. I scream friends to burst, but my throat closes off. Ever so slowly. A chill seeps into every nerve in my body, washing away every sensation in me, apart from one. There's only fear. Once again her laughter echoes, a sound both bitter and unforgiving. It is the last thing I hear before she reaches for me. The ground trembles. The road slows to a stop. Let's see, we're in the dungeon. How's our branching tree looking? Well, we got a little bit of spelunking to do. Still a bit of ways away from the various endings. Although there's gonna be a big skip here, I think, because everyone died. Half darkness greets me when my eyes finally snap open. A soft patter of dripping water somewhere spurring my consciousness further. For a few short moments, I remain still, blinking away the dizziness. Allowing my vision to adjust the lack of sight and my breathing to even out first, before pushing myself up on one arm and attempting to stand. Turning alone is a struggle on its own. An inch of movement sends a stab of sharp pain right up my arms and my back, giving me another pause.
Shit. I hope I didn't break anything. Fuck.
There doesn't seem to be any injury or major fracture, although the whole of my back does feel sore and raw. Probably from when I've skidded down prior to landing myself here. A comforting thought. The second attempt comes easier later, though no less painful. And by the time I'm back on my feet, the exertion has left me gasping in short, shallow breaths and leaning hardly on the wall nearest me. Leaning hardly? Or would it be leaning hard? Behind me, a light draft blows in from where I've fallen in, coming in short, sharp bursts into what's apparently an underground tunnel, and brings in the fresh, earthly smell of rain from the topside. Regardless, it fails to mask the old, musty scent of the place, a mixture of mold, mildew, dust, grease, and something distinctly foul. The sanctity of this place has been fouled. I got puns on this stuff. Like death. More worrisome than the putrid, festering smell, however, are the cells that line both sides of the tunnel. Under the dim light, I can barely make out what's inside on some of them, but I already have a few ideas, all of which I refuse to delve into at the moment. Knowing how long this mansion has stood, Somehow, no matter how unexpected finding the existence of this place is, it isn't too surprising.
I wonder if Scumbag knows about this.
Probably not. Unless he's also the kind of person who takes joy in inflicting this kind of suffering on others. I don't really think so. He's rotten to the core, but not that rotten. He'll probably balk at this, move out at the first opportunity and have it demolished. No, he's more likely to, come down here and be, "Look, honey! Look at all this space in this basement! Why, I can throw money down here! I can make myself a Scrooge McDuck pool made out of gold. No, better than gold. Diamonds are forever. Honey." Yeah, the very idea of what has occurred to me in this place years ago makes me real as well. I've known long ago places like this tend to hold secrets. This, though? If this is just the tip of the iceberg, I fear what I may discover in the mansion itself and the tale behind that forking letter. But fear is inconsequential. As unpleasant as the sight of this is, this place might also be the only way for me to get inside unnoticed. Sighing and taking one last gulp of clean air, I push away from the wall and delve deeper into the passage.
Let's just hope it'll be smooth sailing from here on.
Turns out it is, for the most part. The path rarely deviates, no sharp turns or branching routes. Just a long, empty hallway stretching out before me, filled with nothing but dust, dirt, and a few rusted chains scattered about. The only problem was having an overactive imagination, and walking amidst a place shadowed by death. Every sound, every sudden movement, even the faintness of it spurs it. At times there are scampering, small noises that abruptly rises above my footfalls, rebounding off the hollow walls and echoing inaudibly across the whole span of the tunnel, before fading away just as swiftly as it rang.
It's probably just some animal.
A rat, maybe. I hope. I pause nevertheless, straining my ears for more of it, while I gradually move my hands to my side. Slow and steady until the tips of my fingers brush off the gun handle. Although cold against my skin, it's the closest thing I have to comfort at the moment. For a long minute, I wait, holding my breath, watching every form edge and shadow at the corners of my vision for any movement. After a heartbeat and nothing, I allow the tension to ease out of me, in the form of a long, slow exhale that reverberates around the whole place. Things continue like this as I traverse the whole passage, pausing, listening, moving on, repeat, eventually losing track of time while I go deeper into the tunnel. Until finally the corridor ends with a sight of light slanting from the door left ajar. On the other side, from whatever little glimpse the opening offers, I spy bottles lining the walls and liquor barrels for aging. The wine cellar.
Right into the kitchen, then.
More than eager to get out of this place, I quicken my pace. But as soon as the door's within arm's reach and I push it open, a foul, putrid scent assaults my senses. A heady mixture of odors, akin to a rotting fruit and decaying meat, that catches me completely off guard. Surprised, I stumble back, gagging, having accidentally breathed a lungful of it. Only for my foot to end up disturbing the edge of a nearby puddle I'd failed to notice earlier. It then splashes the liquid right across the hem of my pants, and I fight the urge to grimace as a raw metallic smell rises up in the air. A smell I'm already more than familiar with, thank you very much. That doesn't mean I have to like it. Sighing, I take a brief moment to brace myself before crossing the threshold, already expecting the worst. It's wine. Damn. Luke, you bastard. Holding all this alcohol to yourself. Give it to me. The trail of dark liquid leads me to it. Its form is slumped against a wine vat not too far from the door. The rank lingers heavier here. Stronger, that's Mary Ann. Putrefaction has just started, but in a place like this you can't really tell the time of death from that alone. The humidity and temperature in this room has likely delayed the process. An estimate? This person has died sometime around here 3 to 5 days ago, which places a timeline around the time people are just moving in and also the housewarming party. A servant, then? No one cares about Mary Ann. No. Someone with the same social status as the Wrights. Whoever it is has also read the letter, based on the writings around the body. Someone who was also present during the open house and the party. So a guest. Wordlessly I draw closer, muttering a quiet prayer under my breath for the departed. The least I can do now is figure out who it is and try to find his or her family once I'm done here. Let them know what has become of their kin. Even if the layers are closed, its shoulders feel cold to the touch. Somehow, despite not being new to this, it still sends a nauseating chill to my stomach. Maybe because this time, I know exactly why this person died. Another person too late to save from this curse. Ignoring the dread, gently I give the blazer a pull. Damn, Marianne. Jiminy. Unexpectedly, her head lolls back, twisted, contorted, severed. No, really, is it gonna, like, go all the way? Come on. It dangles. Fuck, it dangles. From one side to the other before sitting at an odd angle. Now the game's just reveling in it. The next thing I know, I'm staring at the hollow base of her neck, with only a thin layer of skin keeping her severed head to her body. More than the gruesome sight or the sickening feeling that has lurched up my throat is recognition. I know this woman. And it's not just any woman I've seen randomly on the streets. She's the same one I met G's 5 days ago, smashed drunk and babbling her frustrations about her employers. Marianne McCullough, famous interior designer extraordinaire. Not so extraordinary now, with her throat sliced viciously in half and her whole body drenched in her own blood. Man, she had some real strength to do that. Once the surprise subsides, I muster the courage to properly lie her down, closing her eyes and covering her face with my handkerchief. It's perhaps the kindest gesture I can offer her right now, pressed for time as I am. But to see her never suffer this kind of death, in the end, the only thing I will do is avert my gaze and continue with my plans. Surreal. This is all nothing but a surreal nightmare. But after everything, should this even surprise me? Ghosts, curses, hidden passages? I can't even bring myself to vocally question anything anymore, in spite of a number of them already swimming inside my head. As a kid, I used to crave for this kind of adventure. A stuff of mystery and detective novels, daring chases, interesting cases to solve, suspects to put behind bars, justice to serve. I was blinded, I admit. Now I simply want this to be over.
You really believe it'll be that easy, don't you?
I'm a paranormal cop now. This fight won't be that easy. Blat blat. I pause mid-step, confused. Warily I look around, searching wildly for the source. A long minute passes. No one speaks again. Breathing out a sigh of relief, I simply continue, this time treading lightly, careful not to make a sound. Up ahead, I can already glimpse a set of stairs that must lead to the kitchen. Getting unnoticed in the wine cellar is not a problem, but if someone's upstairs when I pop up, well, to say it'll be complicated might be a little bit of an understatement, especially if that butler's in there. That wasn't even able to put up a fight. If I get caught, no one will be able to fix this. Well, you have a gun, that's a big difference.
See? So full of yourself, aren't you?
Be quiet, ghost sack. You're not real. This time, I'm sure, there's really a voice. Well, voices. Despite standing only a few paces away from the exit, I find myself stopping and looking for it. Searching the immediate surroundings for a familiar form of the woman, I don't even have to venture far from where I'm standing. Just an arm's length away from me, a mirror stands. Don't look at the mirror, and from it, they speak. All singing the same mocking tune against my ears, leaving an echo throughout the small undercroft. Murmurs and laughters, jeering, scoffing, and deriding, lacing venom to every crevice in my head, taunting me.
Look at you, mouthing off like some hero.
I didn't even say anything, I'm just monologuing.
You can't even fix your own silly little problems. You haven't really changed, have you?
No, it's only been a few minutes.
Useless.
Pathetic.
You're wrong.
A mistake lies in the first instance I've answered. The very second denial slipped from my mouth, their words have also seeped into my heart, allowing it to prod at and rouse my temper. Despite knowing they're merely doing this to goad me, each word, each syllable trickled into me, spreading the guilt I hope I've long buried.
Are we? Or is that simply what you've been telling yourself all this time? Something to make yourself feel better, perhaps?
What about Zach? Wrongfully accused. You couldn't even get him out.
What about Becca? Oh, the way she fell to her death. But all you did was watch. What about Isabella? She warned you, didn't she? And you think you deserved even an ounce of her love?
Alright, Zach is a little bit guilty about Isabella, but the others, come on.
Did you think this'll bring her back? You can't even save her. You can't even do anything for her. They're all dead because of you.
You're the one who took that letter off Isabella's hand that day. You're the one who opened it.
See, I don't even think it was leaving the letter that did it. I feel like just they went to the mansion. All of them did.
How does it feel, I wonder, to know you're responsible for all of this? For their deaths?
What do you think I'm doing? Why do you think I'm still trying to fix this?
Just don't talk to the mirror, Ash. It's just a mirror.
Oh, but you can't. It's already too late, and you know that. You know all of this is futile.
Take a lesson from Bruce Campbell. Don't talk to the possessed furniture.
Just face it, Ashton Frey. You're a failure. and they are the ones who have to pay for it.
A badge and a gun, and you still can't protect your own friends. Can't even solve a case for an old man.
Can't even bring Luke right to justice.
Can't even keep his own family together. No wonder they left you. Before you do the same thing to them.
Mom and Dad are better off without little old you, aren't they? It's a good thing they had the sense.
Pitiful, isn't it? Some detective you are. Some friend you are. Some son you are. You might as well just throw that rank away. You're no use to people either way.
Shut it!
I hate this. I hate how this monster can easily get through to me. Every weakness, every insecurity, it knows. To hear it said in my friend's voice, even more so. What I hate above all of it is...
You know it's true, though.
All of it. It's why all you can do is tell us to shut up. You don't want to hear a single word, because you're already aware of it. You can't even admit it to yourself. Who's the coward now?
But no matter how hard you try, you're not gonna be able to save anyone.
Shut it! Not a single word anymore!
In the end, your own incompetence led to the deaths of everyone you cared about.
Ash just smashed the mirror. It laughs, sharp and piercing. At its sound, something in me snaps, a rage hastily unfurling, red filling my vision. And next thing I know, I'm raising my hand and my fist connects to its surface. Come on, Ash, don't punch it with your fist. It shatters, raining the air with an air-splitting crack, as seeing fragments of it on the floor. The fog from my mind lifts. Every sound, every noise returns to me, flooding my every senses. All at once, there's this deafening silence. Slowly I become aware of my surroundings. Bottles of wine, barrels of liquor, the faint old scent of death and decay somewhere, and the small cuts at the back of my fingers. Blood drips from each digit, trailing down my wrist until it disappears behind my sleeve or falls to the floor. Not too deep. Negligible, even. There's a pain, however, a different kind. An ache somewhere else that stems not from the wound, but from every single word it said. On the ground, shards lie lifeless now. No more voices, no more insults. But even as I walk away, one whispered taunt continues to ring in my ears.
It's useless, Ashton Frey. You are going to die.
You just talk to me like I'm Jon Snow or something. Stop that, ghost.
And you are going to die alone!
A fear. One has been long kept in the darkest place in my heart.
And you are going to die alone! And you are going to... And you are going...
Sorry, I'm just mocking them now. One that a small part of me wishes for. Let's see. Are we still right here? Ah. So either way, you're gonna hit that mirror, but it's gonna alter based on your party quite heavily. And then we hit this, and then there's a bunch of choices right here. The trap door swings open without much fuss. It is even locked, probably left open for when the Wrights ask for some midnight snack. I make sure the coast is clear, of course, before I pull myself up. The butler of theirs is nowhere to be seen. He's probably sleeping, attending to his master, or doing some extra late night work before turning in for the night. Meanwhile, Wright won't touch anything to do with menial chores, not even with a 10-foot pole. It's next to impossible for him to linger here. No servants, no anyone, and just as easy as that, I'm in. Gently I close the hatch. If things go well, the same path will be my way out. If my luck doesn't hold, that's not an option now, is it? I really don't want to think what might happen. Sometimes it's best if I simply revel in the little victories. They're great blessings when everything else is going against you. In a place like this fraught with unknown dangers, it's a feeling that lasts only but a second. Suddenly, a sob. Ringing out from, oh god, from a distant part of the house, echoing through its empty halls. My shoulders immediately tense, hairs raising at the back of my neck as a sudden chill passes. This despite myself and the beliefs I've long held. Because as much as I want to convince myself that nothing's wrong, my experience tells a wholly different story.
What are the chances I'll be able to leave this place alive?
Low. Especially with me at the helm. Sorry, Ash. You ain't no Bruce Campbell. I want to be optimistic about it, really. However, I'm going to get something almost everyone can't quite understand. I have a chainsaw. I'm just being realistic with my chances. Beyond the walls of this room, the cries continue to grow louder. With a ragged draw of breath, heavy with apprehension, I slip out of the door. Like a siren call, or a voice beckons. Finding out who that is seems a good place to start as any. I keep to the shadows for the most part. Not that there's any need to. The entire place just feels empty. Odd when a house this big should have a large staff. You think there'll be one or two roaming about for some late night chores, or someone seeking out whoever's creating this ruckus. There's none, however.
Shouldn't they have security posted inside as well?
Unless their security means the butler, though I doubt scumbag's that sloppy. He loves his life more than anything. They probably start putting him outside. Because Luke is crazy now. Probably more than his own wife. And the things he's done, he's bound to make more than an enemy or two. He's also the kind who'll do anything to keep himself safe. Alive.
I wonder what he'll say when he finds out that there's something not human living with him in his own house.
He'd probably say, "Oh, no matter about that, we have money. Just buy the ghost off and get it out of here." If he actually... Small little trivia. The one... Specifically, there's actually some Japanese ghosts that you actually can get rid of with money. And I think there's some parallels in other cultures. But the one slip-mouth woman, one of the ways of distracting her supposedly is just to throw money at her. And just running. So, the throwing money at ghost things is an actual legitimate form of exorcism. So, I'm not completely lying here. But anyway, potential dangers aside, being on my own grants me a greater degree of mobility, which I'm more comfortable with. With no tag-along, I only have to worry about myself, watch my back. Selfish, I know.
But necessary.
In the same manner this whole plan is, no matter how idiotic going into this is. Besides, I don't really need a guide when the house's layout is fairly simple. Almost mirrored with only a few modifications in the rooms. Although I've only been here once, I think I already have a good grasp of this place's ins and out. As long as I can tell which is east and west, it shouldn't be hard to find out my way around. After the dining room, the main foyer should be the next thing that greets me. Where the woman's cries are leading me. Honestly, if what happened outside, I'm not even sure I should be trusting what I'm hearing. With the whole house somehow seemingly devoid of any of its inhabitants, I'm inclined to look into this. More than surviving this curse, a huge part of this is my training speaking.
I just hope this isn't a crime scene I'm walking into.
But nothing's ever that simple, isn't it? Not when you're dealing with the supernatural. Nope. Because as soon as my feet crosses to the next room, something shifts. Oh, yep, yeah, this is about 100% ghosting right now. 100%. This is when you would ideally call the Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters, but since they don't exist in this universe, you kiss your butt goodbye. In a flash, nearly without fanfare. It happens in the blink of an eye. I almost miss it. One moment, there's red. In the next, I'm staying alone in the foyer. For a brief instant, I pause, glancing wildly around the place, blinking twice as if my movements will spur the vision back. Yet, nothing. No blood dripping on the walls, none trailing down the stairs or pulled on the floor, no eyes watching my every movement. Only the same cries gradually growing in intensity the longer I dally, along with a voice. Mother? Desperate.
Where are you, Mother?
Pleading.
Mother, please. I don't want to be alone.
Hannah, sounds like, voice-wise. Coming from the same direction I've heard the cries from. Upstairs. The place is not entirely empty then. A bare question now is who? Definitely not Scumbag or the butler. I've yet to see hide or nor hair of them, and not knowing their whereabouts puts me on the edge. Especially when I get to be warned about that curse and its horrors. It's most certainly not the wife, either. Nevertheless, it pushes me to move. Take almost 2 steps at a time, despite the sickening feeling that something's lurking behind every great shadow, every small corner I pass. As if the house has several eyes watching my every movement. As if something alive dwells behind the walls itself. Should just burn down the whole place. I try to shake it off. But the uneasy sensation has already made my home at the pit of my stomach. Dread. And it only grows deeper the closer I get to her. The relative emptiness of the place doesn't help either. Never just harsh wind bearing the windows nor the sheets of rain pelting down the roof. For a fleeting second, I found myself wishing for Scumbag to simply show up. I don't get too far down in that train of thought. Abruptly, the cries stop, replacing it with,
Please. She's here. She's here, Mother. She's going to take me. She won't leave, Mother. I don't want to go with her. Tell her to go away. Mother! Mother, she's here! Help!
that can't be good. Adrenaline overcomes me in a rush. In no 2 heartbeats, my feet's already moving. Before any sense can catch up or doubt creeps up to me. My hands ready at the holster as I hastily set off for the far side of the hall. One alarmed footstep after another was struggling to keep that sense of panic at bay. A door lies ajar at the end and coming from the floor above.
She's going to hurt me! Help me!
I do not hesitate. Moving in despite the lack of light, the steep stairs, the thick layer of dust keeping up with my every step. I pause only a moment upon reaching the top. Then without wasting a second, I push the door open. Oh god, it's Lady Charlotte. She sits in the middle of the room, shoulders hunched, shaking. Her hands cover her face as she weeps, oblivious to my presence. It's as if she has heard neither my footsteps nor the soft creaking of the door, continuing undisturbed, like I'm standing in a time far removed from her. She doesn't even flinch when I call out to her.
Hey, are you alright?
Yes, Ashton, ask the ghost of blood coming out of his eyes if it's alright.
Mother, I've done it, Mother. Take me with you, please. I can still hear her. She's here. Help me! Help me, please!
Belatedly, I notice the blood on her hands. If it's the same one drenching the whole attic, I'd rather not know. How the whole room has ended up like this is the least of my problems at the moment. Even a single human body doesn't have this much blood. So, bodies? The thought sends an unpleasant twinge in my stomach. Does Wright even know about this? He's bad news, alright. But this, yes, Luke has nothing to do with the ghost of the blood. This is beneath him. He'll definitely balk at first sight of it. Anyone will. Yet the woman lingers here, unmoved by the sight, and her sobs fill the room. Repeating the words over and over again like a prayer of salvation. To whom? The mess of parchment as she's left on the floor. So what the hell is happening?
Hey, lady, are you?
The rest of that question never makes it out. I don't even see it coming. Are we about to get jump scared? Should have been way more aware and on guard, really. There's little I can do when a well-placed blow to the back of my knees makes me stumble. Combat Butler, is that you? Momentum alone sends me reeling forward. It barely even registers in my head that the woman's gone and the room's as normal as it can be. Now above the pain suddenly she on my side when I hit the floor. But before I can get my bearings back, a hard enough blow to the head makes everything go dark. My consciousness stirs in the haze. Now the thing people need to know about a blow to the head is that they hurt. Real bad. Is this Luke? I swear, people need to stop breaking into my house.
What is wrong with all these lunatics? You'd think they'd put more thought before stumbling into somebody else's home unannounced. This on top of my wife's dead body, which is missing from the bloody morgue.
Oh no. What, Hannah Wright? A corpse. Missing. Whoever hit me must have dealt a way harder blow than I thought, if I'm starting to hear things.
I suppose the act of committing crime must have some attraction to the insane. Of course, you'd know all about that, wouldn't you?
But short of a concussion, as long as the poor guy wakes up soon after, you're gonna be fine, for the most part.
I'd bloody gut you! But you won't be able to clean up after if you're the sorting corpse, will you?
I'd love to see you try. When was the last time you... Oh, there we go. The Dummkopf is waking up.
You stereotypical German-speaking stereotype. We're willing to worry if the guy doesn't wake up within a few minutes. That's a sign of brain damage or well deaf. Still, even with a short time of unconsciousness, there might still be problems. Slight memory loss and forgetfulness, for instance. I do remember finding an attic. So, where am I now and what happened? Those are questions I really want answers to. With a pounding in my head, I can't focus long enough to worry about anything else. Can't remember how I got here. Aside from the fact that it feels like my mouth is stuffed with imaginary conning, I can feel the thick tape that prevents me from asking. The only thing I really managed to vocalize, especially the raging headache, is muffled.
Fuck.
Surprisingly, I soon find that I'm not blindfolded. Usually it's both or the other way around. Nah, yeah, I'm not getting any more comfortable in here. There's a mirror. No, they took the mirror out. Just a window. My eyes soon adjust as the amusement of a study swims into view. That at least answers one of my questions. Not too far from where I stand, Ryden and his butler stare at me much like how kids stare at a frog they're about to dissect. It doesn't help that I seem to be cuffed to something with my arms raised up high. My coat is gone along with my other belongings. I don't have to wonder where they are though, as I can spy them on a serving trolley next to a silver platter and a cloche. Really doesn't bode too well for me.
Awake already. He's only been out a few minutes.
If this was a different kind of VN, I'd think this is kind of sexy.
Shruggin, did you not hit him hard enough? Shouldn't he be out longer? That rolling pin was made of metal. His skull must be very thick.
I only want to knock him out, not kill him, silly man. If I really wished him dead, I could have easily targeted his Terion. That, or the back of his neck, just below the skull. Oh well, look at it this way. It is good news. This means he'll be capable of giving you the answers you seek, yes?
True, true. I do have many questions for our trespasser here. Why don't we start off with the most basic of questions? Why are you here? Of course, if he starts squealing like a pig, perhaps we might need to gut him like one. What do you say, little pig?
Yeah, we're gonna keep with that scumbag title for a little while longer. Normally I'll be insulted at being called little, but there are more pressing matters to attend to. For instance, convincing them to letting me go and making sure I, at the very least, don't die while I'm hanging like a piece of meat on a hook. Maybe I can still salvage this confusing clusterfuck of a situation.
Think you can just get the drop on me, you dodgy little shit? You underestimate me, just like every other meathead out there. You really should have taken more precautions before treading into the wolves' den. Shouldn't you be trained for this? Whoever you work for sure did a shit job with you. Which is it, Which is it this time, huh? The National Crime Agency? Or were you sent to kill me? Not that being one or the other will do you any favors, of course.
National Crime Agency. They wait, expecting an answer, which is ridiculous seeing as how they gagged me. Not to mention the ability to form coherent sentences is made difficult because of a serious case of fluff for brains. Did he have to hit me so hard? It was him who hit me, isn't it? Fucking scrambled my brains. Even now I'm still struggling to remember how I've ended up in this state. In the first place, why did I have to get caught now?
Maybe I can talk if you remove the damn gag.
I do not understand a single word he said.
I think the reason for that is obvious. Would you like for me to remove it?
I don't know. He looks tolerable and less of an idiot with the tape on. But it isn't fun playing 20 questions with someone I can't understand.
As long as he doesn't start clucking like a noisy earth hen or start screaming for help, we should be fine.
Of course, of course. Oh, the nosy ones are the worst. They piss me off so much. Oh, somebody help me, help me, help me!
Is when it hits me. The woman in the attic, the mansion, of course. It all boils down to the fucking letter. Again. I came here to warn him. That's the easy part. Make him believe me, on the other hand? I try to think of how I'll go about this. The words fail me. As soon as the tape is ripped off my mouth, I'm already shouting whatever I can think of. There just isn't much time. I would probably say something like I'm a cop. Off-duty cop. And your main suspect, you know, just got gutted. In the cell. Mysteriously. And I'm here to make sure that this killer is not about to gut you and warn you by snooping around very suspiciously. Of course, you could just say, like, I fell through the damn ground because there was a cave-in when I was approaching your house normally. Here's the hole.
So tell me, little pig, why are you here? Did the NCA send you to apprehend me, or has somebody paid you off to kill me?
It's none of that. That's not why I'm here. You have to believe me. There's someone else. I think it came from this house. There's this letter and a curse, and we're all in danger.
Wrong answer, Ash.
You need to let me go, so I can help before it's too late. You saw the letter. You must have seen it. And we're going to die because of it.
Judging by looks on their faces, they're not sure whether to take me seriously or not. They must think I'm a lunatic.
It already took everything from me. So just listen before it takes anything else.
But it's not like I can conjure up proof.
Listen before it...
A wave of nausea hits me, stopping me mid-sentence as I fight the urge to gag. A ringing sound starts to go off in my ear and I nearly vomit then and there.
Well, that's new and original, at least. I never heard such a sad lie before. How could a pathetic little man like you be of any help to me? Sounds like some convoluted reasoning a hitman would try to sell. You might try to kill me the moment we let you go. You're already screaming your head off after we told you not to.
I'm not with NCA, alright? And I'm not a hitman. I'm an inspector with LPD, okay? But it doesn't matter right now. What matters is you untie me and we get to a safer place. I don't have time for your bullshit! Just let me the fuck go! I've got a clean conscience. I'm only trying to save you. She's coming, I tell you!
I apologize. I think I did hit him a little too hard. He's already talking in riddles. Next thing you know, he'll be speaking in tongues.
Please, you have to believe me. We're all in danger. Let me go, damn it!
Yeah, I think that running pit did knock his brains off a bit.
For some reason, I just feel like this is funny looking. Like two puppets taunting me. Like those ones I banned on the Muppet Show.
What do you think he's talking about? She?
Oh, I can't really tell you that as I have no idea. I don't really care to find out about every woman in your life, do I? What I can tell you is that I found a few interesting items in his coat pocket. A gun and a badge for an LPD officer. A detective, specifically.
Well, at least the little pig's telling the truth.
This doesn't sound familiar to you. He's the one who's been snooping about, I believe. He was also there, if my memory serves me right, at the precinct when you filed a report.
Those words would have got me worrying. With the signs of what could be a concussion popping up, I didn't have the capacity to care right now. I'm more worried about the little bile rising in my throat, threatening to spill from my lips. Wouldn't that be funny? If I vomited them while they tried to interrogate me, it would be actually
The
hilarious.
detective inspector assigned you to look into me. They did mention that. I didn't think you'd take my request to assign someone incompetent seriously. He's not NCA then, but he can still be a hitman if he's a dirty cop, can't he?
Yeah, it's not improbable.
I am not a hitman! And don't touch my goddamn gun, it's not a toy!
Well, I might as well be.
That's what a hitman would say. I'm not taking that risk, am I? I'm not going to die by acting like an idiot. Besides, I know that the investigation on me was called off by the chief inspector, so your alibi doesn't hold. You shouldn't have been here. You're still a threat.
Why is he so damn paranoid? Not that I'm one to talk.
I'm telling you, you saw that letter, didn't you? I don't know how it works, but everyone who's seen it ends up dead, or in an accident if they don't go missing entirely. I know this sounds crazy, but you have to believe me.
And we're back to the madman ramblings. But, yes, I think I do remember you. You're the one from the precinct the other day, aren't you? When I went there to handle that business with the other peasant. You looked so mad when I spoke about him. And that man really did break into my house. Was he your partner? Another hitman? He failed. So now you're here to finish the job.
I told you I'm not a hitman! I came here to try to save your skin, asshole!
Now, being rude doesn't make things better for you.
Now barf on him. Right in his face and mouth. But you got a good, well, he's had a concussion, will you? That's a terrific way to get puked on.
We do have ways to make him talk, if you want to be sure. But I don't see why we don't just kill him now and dump the body.
I want to know who's got a big enough grudge to throw someone at me. You know well enough we can't get answers from a caucus. Besides, I don't see why you're complaining. I know you've been looking forward to playing with him. I could do with the entertainment.
Well, you have me there. I thought I wouldn't get the chance.
Do so. Make him talk. Make him sing. Find out who he's working for.
If Luke is so, like, what's the thing? Kind of casual about this, he must get a lot of hitmen coming after him, I feel like.
See if he has anything to do with that woman who keeps showing up here recently.
Oh, he will sing all right. A pretty little tune.
Still reading from the blow to the stomach, I can't protest as a pair of hands go up to my collar. I anticipate strangulation. I prepare myself to go under, back into the oblivion of his forced stupor. But instead, the gloved hands deftly move to the buttons of my shirt to have them undone. Are you gonna... Oh boy. Damn, Ash. Pretty ripped. Cold air stings in my chest. In contrast, warmth flushes from my cheeks at the humiliation. This has kind of become a little bit of a weird, like... There's a certain, like, genre of otome yaoi novels that have, like, little twisted love things in them, and this... Oh god. Being strung up in beam is one thing. But this... They said themselves, didn't they? I'm entertainment right now. This isn't really how I pictured this scenario. I mean, I know things only get worse before they get any better. I was prepared as well as I can be for the trouble to be from her. I just didn't think I'd be in trouble because of him. I'm here to save him. Karma can at least play along for once. I guess that's what they mean when they say that no good deed goes unpunished. If that means keeping quiet, tiring them out, and during this little interrogation session while they wait for a non-existent confession, then so be it. Because I think I have the answer they need. The only way that I'll be getting out of here is in a body bag. Wright's eyes burned into me with the way he watched, anticipating and ready for his show. This guy looks like a parallel of the one of the memory scenes. On the contrary, his lapdog's gloves left cold trails where his hand roamed in a clinical, detached manner. I feel degraded. Anger and resentment eventually washes it away. Now, I'm ashamed to admit, a touch of fear makes itself apparent when the gloved hands are taken back so that the man can procure a set of knives. Why is there always butlers and maids and knives? I wasn't worried about being killed just yet. They want a confession that I don't have. But I imagine they'll prolong my agony as long as they believe I'm hiding something from them.
Don't touch me!
Oh, don't give me that look. You must think I'm a bad guy. Hardly.
How's this route looking anyway? Are we still... No, we're on some kind of bottom route, so there's a top route that's very different. And this bottom route just kind of railroads and splits off towards the end.
The way I see it, I'm just a guy who likes to do bad, sinful things. And, well, this is what the master of the house is asking of me. I'm afraid I'm in no position to refuse.
The idea that I'm a frog to be dissected isn't too far off, it seems. Without warning, the knife is dragged along my stomach. It touches light and the incision leaves a shallow mark. It doesn't even bleed, barely breaking through skin. It's a thought and promise of pain that has me riled up. The blade dances in my skin, almost as if it's writing letters with a feather pen. Up and down, from side to side and sometimes around, and then with a flourish it cuts deep. I'm barely able to stop myself from crying out in pain.
I'm sorry. Did that hurt? Did it?
Inhale, exhale. The pain rings and resonates from my already sore body. Still, I manage to write out and spit out a muteness.
You.
Fuck you! He doesn't appreciate my sentiment, of course. But the way he digs a finger into the incision and rips a scream from my throat is any indication.
Keep that dirty mouth and you're getting a knife in the kidney. Between the bleeding and the sepsis, I assure you, it will be very painful.
This looks some kind of drug lord on the sign. Like I say, he seems like he comes from a very violent world. It's an odd and painful sensation, no matter how short-lived. The man is quick to return to his art, treating his knife like a damn brush and using me like I'm a damn canvas. No, my beautiful hard rock abs. Cuts are made, both shallow and deep, and crisscross and webs across my skin. At one point I lose track of the time. I don't even know how long I've been hanging here. Has it been minutes? Hours? The sting of the blade is the worst with the way he alternates light touches and deep incisions that I can't even familiarize myself with, and accustomed to the pain. Sometimes if I make a sound he doesn't like, he'll prod a finger in again and twist it in the wound.
You sure look like you're having fun.
Of course. Schadenfreude is best experienced at nighttime. Would you like a turn?
I don't see why not. Just gag him. He gets any louder and will attract attention. I don't want him to start rambling and whining again. He'll talk. Sooner or later. Until then, the tape goes back on.
Our training doesn't prepare us to withstand torture. No, this kind.
And when we're done with him, there's a nice plot of land for new daffodils. You'll make excellent fertilizer. Sounds like a plan, doesn't it?
The only thing that keeps me from begging for death is the thought that I can still get out of here. Even then, it sounds like a hollow hope.
While we're at it, why don't you be a good boy and close your eyes? I really don't like the way you're looking at me. If looks could kill, really, I think I'd be dead on the spot. Close your pretty little eyes unless you want me to pluck them out with a spoon.
You really didn't need to frighten me by now. It's all too much to bear at this point. And without meaning to, I'm gone. The first thing I realize as soon as I come to again is the fact that everything hurts. My chest and stomach especially. But in general, I just wish I can crawl into a hole, curl up, and die. I can assume they've gone tired of slicing into me the moment they realized I was knocked out. The second thing I notice is the fact that they're gone, leaving me all alone and still handcuffed. I can't really survey the extent of the damage done to me as my shirt is buttoned back up. Though I can feel the dried blood lining my skin here and there. I can at least be grateful they didn't go through with their threat of placing a knife in my kidney. And the third thing? Well, there isn't a third thing unless one can count the realization that I'm not dead yet and put in a list. I feel like death anyway. The gist of the situation right now is, well, this is the moment I've been waiting for. What's the point? They're all gone. Rebecca, Zach, Isabella. I imagine they'd be mad at me if I gave up now. Still, what was I even thinking? Trying to save someone like Luke Wright. If you won't listen to me, I'm saving my own neck. Good for you. And I have ways to do so. Pulling myself up by the wrists, I struggle until I can reach into my hair and pull out my ever-trusty hobbies. It takes a bit to maneuver and manage what should be a simple task because how they strung me up. I pull it off anyhow, and I'm soon picking the cuffs in my bid for freedom. The only way to folk things up right now is if one of them walked in and caught me trying to escape, but it looks like they're retired for the night. A few twists and a click, and I'm free at last. Free to rub at my sore arms. Free to grab my coat, gun, and badge. And free to get the folk out of here. That is to say I'm all better. I still feel shaky after what happened. Everything still hurts. But this is a significant improvement from my previous predicament. I walk in the park, in fact. After all, the room was locked from the inside. However, once the door swings open, an entirely different thing greets me. Only to be greeted by the kitchen, pots, pans, and all. There's confusion as I look wildly around the place, wordlessly taking in my surroundings. With each turn and shift my eyes, apprehension slowly dawns on me like a bag of bricks. Wasn't that door supposed to open to a hallway? As if something has heard my thoughts, without warning, the door behind me slams shut. Oh god, we're in a reality marble now. The ghost has taken over. Screw right. I need to get out of here ASAP. Something has gone down with this mansion. Luckily I'm in the kitchen and I have two ways out. The back door and the cellar offers. Except the hatch won't budge when I pull out and neither does the back door. As if something has locked it firmly on the other side. It's a long bout of silence in which I simply look around me, mulling over the same thoughts that are being whispered to me over and over again.
It's useless, Ashton Frey.
It's useless, Ashton Frey.
You are going to die.
You know nothing.
And you
are going to die alone.
Just because I like anime, come on now. I'm trapped. In that same moment, once realization dawns in, something shifts again. Blood. Oh god, here we go. 100% ghost. In every nook and cranny. Over every surface and every inch of the floor. This time, unlike the first one I've seen, It remains, and gradually the whole room began to reek of what that familiar metallic scent. Sharp. Suffocating. Around me, every object including cupboards have started to rattle as well. I eventually make sense of everything, if only I had a chainsaw and a boomstick. Without delay, I'm already running, fueled purely by adrenaline, reaching for the door that leads to the next room. The dining. It should take us straight to the foyer, where the main door is. The benches start to change and I'm in the thick of it. However, instead of the dining room like it's supposed to open to, the bedroom welcomes me instead. An image that lasts only about a second before blood begins to seep into the room. Oh, really, Ghost? Come on now. Filtering to the walls, trickling from every nook and cranny. Everywhere, furniture shakes and every beam rattles. Before I can even step back from the horror gradually unfolding in front of me, the door slams shut. A loud thud bringing a sense of dread and chill creeping up in me. Along with it is another realization. The whole place is reordering itself. With the door closed tight behind me, showing no signs of budging even through sheer force, there's no choice but to go for it and hope to all gods that it'll lead to an exit. Until then, running's the only thing I can do. Spurred by nothing but fear and a desperation to live.
It's useless, Ashton and Frey.
It's useless, Ashton Frey. You know nothing. With each room I pass, it only becomes apparent that the house has no intention of letting me leave. It lured me here and I've fallen for it. Now it's playing a little game with me. A sordid form of amusement. For whom? Her laughter is the only thing I can hear. With every hall I cross and door I slide open, the hope of finding an exit merely dwindles. The gun at my hip is useless here. I am useless here. Some fucking genius I am. Some fucking person to trust I am. All of those, they mean nothing in the face of the unknown.
You finally figured it out. Huh, Ashton Frey.
You finally figured out, Ashton Frey. You know nothing.
Just give it up. They died because of you.
Stop referring to me as my full name, you damn ghost.
And you are going to die alone.
Shut your fucking mouth.
You know it's true, though.
All of it. It's why all you can do is tell us to shut up. You don't want to hear a single word, because you're already aware of it. You can't even admit it to yourself. Who's the coward now?
But no matter how hard you try, you're not gonna be able to save anyone.
The more gruesome a place turns, the bleaker my chances suddenly get. Wails and screams from my ears as I pass by. Words from a time and people long gone, laced with nothing but pure agony, calling out, reaching out to me. Their voice is almost too real as if I'm not the only one trapped here. But there are others begging for release from this wretched place.
Why are you doing this? Just please. Don't you love me?
Maybe it's all just a show. A taste of what I will eventually be. A soul forever held captive in a never-ending nightmare.
Mother. I've done it, Mother. Take me with you, please. I can still hear her. She's here. Help me! Help me, please!
Is this what the curse is? What it means for all of us? That the lair is not a morbid cry for help, but an invitation. A beckoning for unsuspecting souls to be dragged into this place's horrors, to be put under a centuries and centuries of torment and agony. Suddenly, dying a painful death seems preferable, enticing, than ending up here, living a tortured existence. Or perhaps it's all the same. Still, hope warms its way into me. Not a usual thing for someone like me. But after going through countless doors and corridors, every little sign of hope I'm willing to cling to, as long as it'll get me out of here. I'm back in the parlor again. How long have I been running? How long since I've left the kitchen? What if it's just a dream? We're still like tied up there. At some point I've lost track of time. With the windows barred tight and the sounds lifting in the air, nothing but shouts and shrieks, it's impossible to tell. Not that it matters when an end is in sight. Shelves and furnishings bar the door, each stained with blood and gore. That if the situation is as desperate as it is, I'll find a different way out. But there's still a gap left to the topmost part of a person to go through. As long as you use the shelves to climb, this is such a trap.
It's an exit, all right.
From here I can spy the familiar walls of the foyer. Relief, only relief washes over me. Although my legs have been strained taut by all the running, and every bone and muscle in my body ache, there's only an easing. A sense of tension relieving while energy back flows from me again at the sight of an end. No sooner am I heading straight to it. For odd this hush is, I turn my back from it and climb up. It's a tight fit, but I manage to squeeze myself in. The unease remains, though. Maybe it's adrenaline still coursing through me, or how easy everything has been after living through that nightmare, fleeting as it is. But for some reason, something's still nagging at me. Call it a detective's instinct or my training or whatnot. I have a feeling something's happened and catch me unprepared. Unconsciously, before dropping down the bare side of this dream, my hand shifts to the gun at my hip. Instinct has never failed me before.